So you want to develop radical ownership within your company. You want people to be responsible and be accountable for what they do and eagerly seek it out and do it. But the secret to creating radical ownership actually comes after the fact. You need to celebrate accomplishments if you want to create a sense of ownership. In other words, we cement ownership and a sense of ownership with celebration. Celebration is the glue that binds everything we do. Celebration is an acknowledgement of many things. One, it acknowledges the difficulty. In fact, the greater the struggle, the greater the celebration needs to be. When we fail to celebrate, it's really a failure to acknowledge the accomplishment. When people don't get acknowledged for what they've done, why are they going to own it? So that's absolutely critical, number one, is we acknowledge those people who do the hard work with some sort of celebration. And frankly, the greater the struggle, the more difficult it is to do, the bigger and more important that celebration needs to be. But it can't just be any celebration. It has to be a celebration that actually memorializes your purpose and your values. It can't be antithetical to what you say your purpose and values are. It can't contradict that in any way. To do that is actually to undermine your own efforts because you're sending mixed messages and mixed signals. The military is excellent at this. From the very beginning, we start with celebrations. When an enlisted person graduates boot camp, let's take the Marine Corps, for example. They're not referred to as Marines until they graduate and they earn the Globe and Anchor. They don't get it awarded to them. They earn it. That language is so important because it makes it their accomplishment. And if you want people to own something, to be responsible and accountable to it and for it, then it has to be their accomplishment. I once worked for a company. We had sales bonuses that we reached or had the potential to make every month and every quarter. And one of the fellow sales guys there, he got a deal in that was faxed in night before the end of the period, but the deposit check didn't show up till the next day. Now, he had closed the deal, right? He had gotten the commitment within the reporting period. But the owner of the company didn't want to provide him the bonus. And the sales manager, general manager, had to talk him into it. And I remember very clearly that when the owner said, well, I'll give this to him, the sales manager chewed out the owner. He said, you're not giving him anything. He earned this. And that's a really important distinction. If you want people to continue working hard, you need to give them that sense of ownership by acknowledging what they've done. Now, the other thing is that the celebration is, by some matters, a sacred pause. And by sacred pause, I mean, we stop what we're doing to celebrate, right? We go out to lunch. We do something out of the ordinary. We're not going through the normal routine. Again, in the military, training stops. There's a huge, big ceremony, usually followed by some sort of party afterwards. And the more arduous the task, the more important that celebration. So I mentioned, Marines in a boot camp. If you're an aviator, now you have to learn to fly. That's even more difficult than just going through boot camp. A higher degree of celebration. Special forces, even more so, even more critical. And it's the celebration itself that creates that sense of esprit de corps. And by esprit de corps, of course, I mean the spirit of the body, that sense of pride, that sense of accomplishment, that sense of ownership, that sense that you are unique. Imagine what your business would be like if every single person working with you, working in the organization, walked with a swagger about them because they worked with you, because they knew that not everybody who applies gets in, because not everybody who gets in makes it through the training, and not everybody who makes it through the training actually lasts. Those that make it feel a sense of pride, rightfully so. But you can only do that by having standards to hold yourself to hold them to, that they can then feel pride because they measure up. Without that set of standards, without that ability to say, here is what we stand for, here are our values, here is our purpose, here is why we exist. And for those people who disagree with our standards, that's okay. You're just not good enough to work with us. Those that make it will feel that sense of accomplishment. And they'll protect those standards because they're now important to them. But that only happens when we take a minute to celebrate, because it's the celebration that gives the importance. If you think about that for a second, when you stop what you're doing and say, you made it through the first day of training, we're going to take a couple hours, we're going to go to lunch, we're going to congratulate you. There's work tomorrow, but today is for celebrating. Today is about you, letting you bask in understanding that we welcome you to the family. It is the glue that ties the mechanics and the mindset and the model together. That's what the celebration does. The mechanics, of course, are the training, which teaches them how to do what it is they need to do. It goes through the processes and procedures, teaches them where to find information if it's something more advanced that wasn't covered in their training or something they forgot that they know exists, but they need to go find it, so they know where to go find it. It tests them to make sure they know how to do it properly. It reviews the metrics so they know how much they need to do and how to go about achieving those goals. So when they finish the training, they know they can do their job, which creates that sense of security. It is so vital if you want people to become self-actualized. You want people to become engaged to the point so that they start helping you improve and iterate your business. The celebration reminds them that you're thinking of them, that they are important, and that everybody who's gone through this before them is important, and everybody who will come afterwards is important, and that they are part of the whole, and they're part of a team, and they're a welcome part of that team, which will keep them thinking about the others in the team, as well as thinking about the other stakeholders, your vendors and your clients and your customers. So it's absolutely critical that you celebrate so they really cements the correct mindset. And finally, as you probably have already inferred, that celebration models for them those very characteristics. It models for them the fact that, yes, you have a methodology even for celebrating, that this is so important that we have ritualized. And it's important you have a ritual. You don't make it up every time, that people go through a similar experience because it's about them. And now you're modeling the mindset as well. Absolutely critical. And when you celebrate, you create that sense of esprit de corps, that spirit of the body. And people will now take pride in what they do and take ownership within your company and organization. So when you finish with this, what I'd like you to do is sit down and start thinking, where are the points where we can celebrate and how do we do it? And create that ritual and up-level your team. Join the Radical Accountability Movement. Watch the next video right here and subscribe so you never miss a tactical breakthrough with Locked On Leadership.